Welcome back, everybody, to Filmbox. I'm your host, Tyler Edwards, and today I will be reviewing Zack Snyder's Justice League. This movie is 4 hours long, and it is currently streaming on HBO Max, and which is where I believe it will stay. Hopefully, it will have a DVD Blu-ray release. As somebody who loves to collect Blu-rays and DVDs, I'm hoping that this movie gets that treatment. But anyways, this will be a spoiler review. I will talk briefly over points that I like. And so without further ado, let's get into the review of Justice League. Okay, so the first big thing with this movie is the fact that it is 4 hours and 2 minutes, I believe, 4 hours and 2 minutes long, which is a fairly long movie. So I do recommend that if you watch this, you can either watch it in chunks or you can watch it all at once. Me and my friends, we watched it all at once, and I recommend that the best, but you do with whatever fits best in your schedule. The movie itself is broken up into 8 parts. So I would say whenever you're done with, let's say, part 4 and you want to go halfway, then once you're done with part 4, pause the movie, go to do whatever else you need to do, and then come back to it. But yeah, so runtime is I know it's been a big issue for a lot of people. For me, it didn't bother me that much, because Endgame was 3 hours long and it had a theatrical release, and I know this is a whole hour longer than Endgame. But I didn't mind the runtime that much. It didn't feel like a 4-hour movie. I didn't feel the 4 hours. I mean, I did towards the end because I watched this movie rather late in the evening, so I was done at about 1:30 in the morning. But no, I really enjoyed the movie. The runtime isn't a problem that I necessarily have, that I do know that is a problem some people have. But yeah, so with runtime out of the way, let's talk about plot and story. The plot of this movie is similar to the 2017 Justice League, or Justice League as I'll refer to it in this video. They're both similar, though I feel like since Zack Snyder in this version of the film finally is able to present his vision and what he wanted, he was able to flesh out the story a lot more. So it is the basic story of Justice League, but instead of it being a story that's supposed to be 4 hours and condensed into 2.5, it is a long, methodical story told from minute 1 to hour 4. You know, the story is pretty much the same, though we do get a lot more of a cyborg, a lot more, and then of course they reshot a couple of scenes. Mainly, they reshot appearances for Martian Manhunter, who appears twice in the film, both in a confusing. Some people are confused with this scene, and I'm going to talk about Martian Manhunter real quick. They get confused with the scene of him visiting Lois Lane as Martha Kent. No, that is not. He has not been Martha Kent this whole time. He was only Martha Kent in visiting Lois Lane. And then at the end, it was definitely a reshot sequence with him and Batfleck, because Batfleck looks incredibly smaller than he did in the rest of the movie. But no, those were 2 really good scenes, or at least the last scene, because we get to see him full Martian Manhunter. He looked really good, and I really liked that scene. It was a good, touching scene between him and Bruce Wayne. It was a little cheesy when he said, "They call me the Martian Manhunter," but I think it was fine. But with that out of the way, yes, they did add, Snyder did add a few new scenes, but those are mostly in the epilogue, which is I think it's the last chapter, and it's kind of one of the longest ones. There's like 3 really long chapters in this, because the movie's split up into 8 chapters. So that, again, along with the runtime, it'll help, ease that tension if you want to break watching this into chapters. But yeah, so with that out of the way, let's go into some of the characters. Okay, so starting off with some of the characters, one of the biggest shining actors in this film was Ray Fisher as Cyborg. I think he did a great job, and I hate that he got the boot. I know him and Warner Brothers have had a rocky relationship currently. I think he was great as Cyborg. I don't know why they cut a lot of his stuff from the original Justice League. I think that Cyborg in this version of the film, he's the heart of the team. We spend, I'd say, with the team members, we spend the most time with Cyborg. This is honestly almost a Cyborg origin story, or at least Cyborg. Like, this is a really good Cyborg movie, as well as being a Team Justice League movie. It's a good Cyborg movie, and I think Ray Fisher played the character beautifully, and I really enjoyed this rendition of the character. Of course, he's different than, I grew up on the Teen Titans, so this is very different than the Teen Titans Cyborg that says booyah and is cool and all that. This is a, again, a more muted Cyborg, or not muted, but he's a more somber toned Cyborg, and that's fine for the story that they're telling in this. I don't want him to after seeing his dad get incinerated by the mother box, be like, booyah! That doesn't make any sense. So I'm glad that they did I'm glad they did a lot with his character. Another character I thought they did way better in this version than the original was Flash. Flash he's still awkward and still for comedic effect, but he's not annoying. I think in the original, he had the tendency to be annoying. I think his character was fine for the first couple of jokes in the first one, but in this one, oh my gosh, he's so integral to the finale of the film. And I'll go ahead and talk about that. At the end of the film, Cyborg's trying to fix the Unity. Barry Allen gets shot by the one parademon that Bruce forgot to take out. Shoots Barry Allen. Barry Allen's been shot, and he's kind of down for a minute. And for a moment, the mother boxes form the Unity, and just a giant explosion goes by, and everybody in that vicinity gets just vaporized, except for Barry Allen, because he goes into the Speed Force. And then eventually he breaks his one rule of traveling through time, and sorry, I'm not bored of talking about the Flash, I promise. But he goes back through time, and one of the most visually stunning aspects of this film too, he goes back in time and is able to generate enough power so that way Cyborg can stop the Unity, and then Superman comes in to help Cyborg take apart the mother boxes. I love that scene so much. Every time I think about it, because I remember when I first saw that in the 4:3 aspect ratio of this film, which it is a 4:3 aspect ratio, seeing that, it looked like a painting on the screen. It looked like this beautiful Flash painting. It was beautiful. I think, and then that's another thing. Snyder knows how to direct. He knows how to make action look good, especially making these heroes not just seem like average heroes that relate to the audience, but he brings these gods among men style of shooting these heroes, and it is beautiful. And I really liked that, and I really just liked how this version of the Flash is. He's not joking all the time, but he is there for levity, and I do appreciate that. Another character I thought they did really well in this version was Aquaman. I think Aquaman, they set him up for, again, because this movie was supposed to come out in 2017, so they did a good job setting Aquaman up in this film to him being how he is in Aquaman. So I do think they did a good job with him. It was pretty cool seeing him fight and all that. And Jason Momoa is pretty good as Aquaman, as always. But yeah, so that's it. Oh wait, well, I guess one more character I really want to mention is Darkseid. We see Darkseid, and his power, like the way he's presented, honestly, it was menacing. Like, you think Steppenwolf's a big bad, but Darkseid is just this. Every time I saw him, all I felt was dread. And just like seeing him whenever Steppenwolf would communicate with him, I thought, oh my God, I felt dread because it's Darkseid. I can feel his presence. He's not just the CGI being. He is, I can tell he has this presence. But yeah, and then real quickly, I'll talk about the other characters. Superman looked good. He was in the black suit. He looked amazing. On par, he was a lot more badass than he was in the original. Batman, he was okay. He had a good couple of scenes with Alfred, but overall, I thought his character was just fine. Diana was pretty good as well. I think they really did a good job of her having powers. Though, of course, I thought it was weird that her powers and Aquaman's powers weren't necessarily on the same league as Superman, because I thought they were all kind of powerful in that sense. But I get it when you try to make Superman more powerful. But the end battle between the heroes between Superman and Steppenwolf was probably one of my favorite moments. Superman comes in, breaks his axe, and then eventually he cuts off one of Steppenwolf's horns. He doesn't just chop off his helmet. No, his fucking horn comes off. Part of his head just gone, laser beamed off. And then eventually Steppenwolf, after the mother boxes, this unity is separated, Steppenwolf is like, oh no. And then he turns to face Superman, and then Aquaman you just see a trident go through Steppenwolf's chest. And I was like, oh my God. And it was tremendous. And then he fucking launches him, and then Wonder Woman. The one thing with Wonder Woman, real quick, I'm sorry, I'm telling the story and then I'm just stopping it. What the hell were they doing with the score? Every time she's on screen, it's like some sort of like and I'm like, for everything she does, like every scene she's like kicking ass. Anyways, that score comes up and it's kind of annoying. This is one of the grievances I have with the film. And then as he's flying back through the portal to Darkseid into Apocalypse, Wonder Woman just cuts his head off. As Thanos said, should have gone for the head. Well, Wonder Woman went for the fucking head. She just chopped his head off, and then his head and his body go through the portal, and then his head rolls, and then Darkseid just stomps on his head, and then looks through the portal at the Justice League, and then just like the portal disappears, and then he tells his goons, hey, prepare the Armada, we're going to take over the old-fashioned way, setting up sequels we will probably never get thanks to Warner Brothers. But a couple more things I want to talk about real quick are in the end credits or the epilogue. The epilogue sets up Flash and his dad, and getting closer to finding a way to solve his dad, to help his dad get out of prison, not solve his dad. That sounds weird. Batman still has the same thing with Clark of how'd you manage to buy the? He's like, I bought the bank. I didn't buy the farm. I bought the bank. And then Wonder Woman is. Did they even wrap up her? She's doing Wonder Woman stuff. Aquaman's setting up his movie by saying, I gotta go find my dad. And he gets in the back of a truck and he goes to go find his dad. Cyborg, he's listening to the thing that the recording his dad left him, which was very touching. I was glad to see that. Barry Allen, oh wait, no, I already talked about him. Yeah, that's pretty much and then Superman, we see him kind of coming back to life. He looks up at the sky and then he turns and then he does this, and it's not the red and blue suit, it's the black. He's still wearing the black suit. And then that part of the movie ends, and then the nightmare sequence. I'm not gonna lie, I was really hyped for this sequence, and I'll tell you why. We finally got to see Batman and the Joker of these versions of Batman and the Joker interact with each other, and I think a lot of people say they don't like it. A lot of people don't like Jared Leto's Joker. I'm one of those people. I did give him a benefit of the doubt with this one. I thought he did very well in this portion of what he was in. One of the best lines he said was, he gives Bruce Wayne a Joker playing card, and he goes, and if you tear that car in half, I'll be happy to divulge you why you sent a boy wonder to do a man's job. That's, of course, referring to the fact that Joker killed one of the Robins. Whether it's Dick Grayson or Jason Todd is up to Snyder if he ever says anything further on the matter. And Batman says, and this is one of my favorite Batman lines I've ever heard, he goes, Harley Quinn told me to promise her something as she was dying in my arms, for me to kill you. And trust me, I will fucking kill you. And I will not do it slowly. And I was like, oh my God. Because when I heard that come from Batfleck, it's like I could tell that this Joker and this Batman, not only have they been foes, but the fact that they have both survived the apocalypse and they're having to work together to stop Superman is it's like, for those characters, it's like a horrible situation that both of them are still alive, but also it's like we are so out of options. I have to work with a one man that I hate. And I thought that was a really good scene between them. Of course, Jared Leto was still kind of awkward, but overall, I really enjoyed the scene. And then that scene ends, and then it brings us to the Martian Manhunter scene, which I've talked about earlier. I really enjoyed. But yeah, so that's overall. To kind of wrap up this video, I will say this. I thought the movie was good. If you can set aside 4 hours to watch a movie, do it. This movie is fantastic. I think you shouldn't really overlook this. It is on HBO Max, so if you do not have that, I don't know how else you're going to watch it. I don't think it's in any theaters. Also, where I live, I don't think there are any theaters open. But yeah, so it's on HBO Max. It is 4 hours long, so be wary of that. Also be aware that it is a 4:3 aspect ratio. So instead of being widescreen with the bars on the side, or on the bars on the top and bottom, it is 4:3, so the bars are bigger and they're blocked like this. So it's more like a square in the middle of a flat screen television, which I actually kind of liked. It does take a minute to get used to that aspect ratio, but it doesn't take you out of the movie too much. Overall, I thought the story, the characters, everything was fleshed out great. I definitely say this is one of Snyder's best. It's not my personal favorite Snyder film, though I will say it's probably number 2. And then in the overall DC universe that this is connected to, I'd say this is probably number 2, 3. This is probably number 2. It's probably my second favorite DC film in this line of DC films. Number 1 being Wonder Woman. I don't think this movie has yet to pass that. But I will say I really loved this movie. Please do check it out on HBO Max. If you have seen it, let me know what you thought about it. Leave a comment down below. Don't forget to like the video. Also, subscribe. I am a very small channel, and I would appreciate you subscribing or leaving a like or comment. So yeah, if you like Justice League, the Snyder Cut, or the Zack Snyder's Justice League, leave a comment and we can talk about it. Or just leave a comment and have a discussion with somebody in the comments. But also, do be respectful. And thank you all for watching.